Hare Krishna devotees. I'll start with the Mangala Charan prayers. Om Agganati Mirandhasva Gananjaya Shalakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnaprasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namne Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Paschatpadeshattarine Vanchakalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubharvacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Hare Krishna devotees, we are hearing about the Radhanath Das Goswami. So we will just continue from where we left yesterday.
Was the reason for Raghunath Das being able to achieve the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which happened later. So later is the first association that Haridas had, that Raghunath Das had. And this is when Lord Chaitanya had taken sannyas. When he took sannyas, Lord Nityananda tricked him. He is planning to go to Vrindavan, but instead he tricked him and they went to Shantipur. So Mahaprabhu was at Shantipur. So naturally, Ananta Acharya and Balaram Acharya had gone too. Because they were there, Raghunath Das was able to go. And when he was there, Advaita Acharya made sure that Raghunath Das regularly received Lord Chaitanya's remnants for the duration of time. He was in Shantipur. So he was very young when this happened. And then a little later was their second meeting. This is when Lord Chaitanya, after meeting Rupa and Sanatan, yesterday and the day before we heard about their meeting, Rupa and Sanatan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was headed back to Puri. On his way back to Puri, little review because of the distraction. Raghunath Das met Haridas Thakur, which was the seed that started his devotional life. He met Lord Chaitanya directly, just as Lord Chaitanya had taken sannyas. Later, he met Lord Chaitanya for the second time. And the second time was when Lord Chaitanya was on his way back to Jagannath Puri, after meeting Rupa and Sanatan. After meeting Rupa and Sanatan, he went a little further north to, as you see, Kanai Natashala, and then he went again south. And on his way going south, he passed through Shantipur, and he stayed for some time at Shantipur. And at that time, that's when Raghunath was just 19, and he met Lord Chaitanya for the second time. And he arranged, because Lord Chaitanya spent a few days, he arranged an opportunity to meet with him. And Raghunath Das was really anxious, like transcendentally anxious, to be with Lord Chaitanya. And he had tried between that first and the second meeting, after the first meeting, many, many, many times to run away and join Lord Chaitanya. But it didn't work, because his father sent guards to go find him, and brought him back home. And so now he's meeting with Lord Chaitanya for the second time, begging Lord Chaitanya, please make an arrangement so I can be with you. And Lord Chaitanya spoke the following words: calm yourself and return home. Don't be foolish. It takes time to cross the ocean of material suffering. Don't make a show of monkey renunciation, markata vairagya, simply for other people's benefit. Enjoy the worldly life in a moderate way without attachment. Be fixed on Krishna internally, while externally dealing with the world in the appropriate fashion. It will not be long before Krishna delivers you. Now remember, he has no interest from childhood in material things, and that's the atmosphere. His parents were Vaishnavas, but they were a little on the materialistic side, and and extremely wealthy and enjoying their wealth and all of those things. And he had no attraction at all. So he just wanted Lord Chaitanya's renounced association, and Lord Chaitanya is giving him this very specific instruction. So then the next event that happens in his growing up is some incident that took place between himself and the Chaduri. A Chaduri is a title, and it's a title that has to do with being a tax collector for the Muslim ruler, the Nawab. So the arrangement was the Nawab was like, in effect, the landholder, and then there's sub-landholders under the king. So there's an intermediary, or a Chaduri, who goes to the landholders and collects taxes from the landholders, who collect taxes from the people that do agriculture on the land. So the Majumdar family had an arrangement with the king that they cut out the middleman. The Chaduri was the middleman, and he was supposed to get 25% of whatever they collected. But they didn't give the 25% to the Chaduri. They just gave the normal amount to the king or the Shah. So the Chaduri was upset. He reported it to the king. They're only giving, they're cutting me out. They're not giving you, they're not giving me what I should be getting, although you're getting what you should be getting. So he became their enemy, and the Shah, or the king, authorized him to have the two brothers, that's his father and uncle, arrested. They were out of town when the Chaduri came, and the government officers came, so they locked up Raghunath Das. And every day the Chaduri came and tried different ways to get the money, that his 25%. And, and where's your father, and where's your uncle, and, they're out of town. And so he made a very clever arrangement. Raghunath Das showed, the reason for telling all this is he actually had the prowess to do worldly things. So what he did was, after many, many, many days of being in jail, he said to the Chaduri, you are like my father, and my father and you are then like brothers. And in families, sometimes brothers will quarrel one day, and the next day they're happy and they're jolly, and this is just one of those things that will pass. So please don't take it so seriously, and please show your affection to me like you would show to your son. And he said it in such a way, it's not, I didn't say it in such a way, but he said it in such a way that He said it in such a way that Chaduri started to cry, meaning he was expert. And Chaduri said, from this day forward, I'll treat you like my son. So please just make some arrangements so that your father and uncle can see that I get the proper money. And some arrangements were made, and he got his money, and things were nice. So the point is, Raghunath Das showed that he had material skill, worldly savvy. He just wasn't interested in it. But the instruction Lord Chaitanya had given him, behave in the world, do your duties in the proper way. He was married. He had a very beautiful, attractive wife and money and things, everything that a materialistic person would love to have. But he had no interest in it. Next major event in his growing up is Lord Nityananda was not so far away, visiting, because Lord Nityananda was given an assignment by Lord Chaitanya to travel throughout Bengal and distribute the holy name. So one of the places he went was along the banks of the river Ganga. There's a place called Panihati. It's a very nice place. It's not very far from Calcutta. And he convinced his father that he could go visit Lord Nityananda. When he visited Lord Nityananda, he was seated under a tree with many, many, many hundreds of people around him, followers. And Lord Nityananda saw him coming from a distance. And he's omniscient, so he knew who he was. And he ordered him, you come here. And in a funny way, like a thief, you don't come near me, but simply try to run away. Now that I have caught you, I shall punish you. I want you to feed all my followers chipped rice and yogurt. Now that's not a punishment. That's a reward. You get to feed the Vaishnavas. That's very nice. But Lord Nityananda was saying it in a funny way because that's his nature. So chipped rice with condensed milk and chipped rice with yogurt was the plan. And Raghunath Das was happy to use his wealth in this way. He bought up all the ingredients in the area, and they had them all mixed and offered to the Lord. And the description, it takes many long section of the Bhagavatam. There's so many people, there wasn't room for them on the banks of the Ganga, so some were half submerged in the water of the Ganga, receiving their clay pot of chipped rice and yogurt and condensed milk. And as you see in the painting, it was such an ecstatic event that Lord Chaitanya personally came. Lord Chaitanya personally came. Oh, he was living in Puri. He personally came in his spiritual identity.
Someone is at the front door.
Wow. And they had, after having their meal, the two lords, they had kirtan. And they were dancing and dancing and dancing. And they ran out of ingredients, so we went and got more ingredients and distributing the ingredients to all the Vaishnavas, and it was a big festival. And at the end of that big festival, Raghunath Das petitioned Lord Nityananda in the way that you see here. And here's what he said. Very, very humble expression. I am the lowest of men, the most sinful, fallen, and condemned. Nevertheless, I desire to attain the shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like a dwarf who wants to catch the moon, I have tried my best many times, but I have never been successful. No one can attain the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without your mercy. Although I am unfit and greatly afraid to submit this plea, please be especially merciful toward me by granting me shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This was his desire, and he understood rightly so. To get Lord Chaitanya's association, it's by the mercy of Lord Nityananda. So again, Lord Nityananda called him over placed his foot on his head, as you see in this nice painting. Raghunath emotionally asked Lord Nityananda through Raghava Pandit, because he would always speak through someone. So Raghava Pandit was the landholder in charge of this area. How he could possibly gain freedom from his material entanglements and obtain the association of Mahaprabhu. Nityananda placed his feet on Raghunath's head, as you see in the painting. And here's what Lord Nityananda said to him. You arranged this feast on the banks of the river, and Mahaprabhu was merciful to you and came here himself to enjoy it. He blessed you by accepting the offering of chipped rice and yogurt. Then, after watching the devotees dancing, he took prasad in the evening. Lord Gauranga came here just to deliver you, and now he has removed any impediments which remained. He will turn you over to Sarup Damodar and make you his confidential servant. He will keep you by his side. Go home now and forget your worries. You will soon be able to go to the Lord without any difficulties. Now let's recall the number of years that Raghunath remained in Puri. 16 years, right? 16 years. And Lord Chaitanya stayed in Jagannath Puri for a total of 24 years, but Lord Chaitanya was in Puri for only a short while, like a half a year, and then traveled in South India for 2 years, and then a little while in Puri, and then traveled to Vrindavan, and then back to Puri. So, for not the full duration of time that Lord Chaitanya was after he had returned to Puri, but almost, like maybe 2 years short, because like 18 years in Puri after his 6 years of travel. That's what is commonly is described. So Raghunath was with Lord Chaitanya for almost the entire time that Lord Chaitanya was in Puri, almost. So now here comes this topic that Varsana wanted to hear something more about. The trick, using tricks to get a transcendental objective. Normally we don't do that. But Raghunath Das tricked Yadunandanacharya. And the trick was that it was in the evening. Raghunath Das was understood to be, very capable at worldly things, although detached from them. And Yadunandanacharya had responsibility for the worship of the deity. And he was having difficulty finding a pujari to do the worship of the deity. So he, before the morning hour arose, before the sun came up, he was together with Raghunath Das, and they were going to the home of the pujari to make sure he would do the deity worship in the morning. Raghunath Das said, "No problem, I'll take care of this. You can take rest." So Yadunandanacharya, recognizing that Raghunath Das is very skilled, he went to take rest. And Raghunath thought that now's my chance. Because normally there were guards, and now there's no guards. It's early in the morning hours before the sun came up, and this and that. And so what did he do? He ran. He ran, and within 12 days he traveled all the way from his home to Jagannath Puri, fasting except for almost nothing, and finally made it to Lord Chaitanya's association in Jagannath Puri. So now I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about this trickery topic, because we came across it already with Sanatana Goswami, who also did something tricky in order to escape from being, put in a prison under the custody of a prison guard. He did something tricky to get free. So this is a little discussion on when is it okay, is it ever okay to do trickery, in case you have to encounter. The general rule is no, you don't do trickery. You be straightforward in all of your activities. We know in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada writes about Vaishyas. Vaishyas will, it's almost a prerequisite. Not, it's very common for persons who are Vaishyas to stretch the truth about things. Prabhupada made a comment.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, I mean, it just abruptly got disconnected, but I think it's fine because the time is also over. So anyone, whoever would like to share whatever they like from today's session, Hare Krishna.
Next, Mataji, then let me just few points.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes. So one is how the regulated enjoyment, which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was talking about. I'd like to hear from other devotees what this means. So you don't have to do this. I don't know.
Prabhu, your voice is not clear to me. Is it clear for others?
Yes, Prabhu, your voice is very low. If you can increase the, or come closer to
Is
the.
it better now? Is it better now?
Little
Hare
better,
Krishna, is it
Prabhu.
better? Okay.
Little
So
better.
yeah, so this part of regulated enjoyment part I liked. And the other thing was the Chidadayi pastime. So the whole pastime was very nicely explained by Maharaj. And then how Nityananda Prabhu gave that mercy to Raghunath Das Goswami. Not just that, he also gave the confidence that he'll be accepted by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and eventually he'll go back to Godhead. So that aspect also I like. And the straightforwardness towards the end, which Maharaj was speaking about. So we'll probably hear about that in the next class. So just some light on this regulated enjoyment part, devotees. It would be nice if we can hear from everyone. Correct.
Thank you, Prabhu, for your sharing. Sweta Mataji, anything from your end?
Hare Krishna Mataji. I was just enjoying the everything what Raghunath Das Goswami did, how he could manage the Chaudhary and could do what was needed to do as a family member for his father and uncle, and still remembering all the time about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like it is something we all, at least I have to learn in a really practical way, that we can do all my duties and still can be absorbed all the time in remembering Krishna. So that was something I was thinking about, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Umarika Mataji, anything from your end? Hare Krishna.
No, Mataji, nothing from my end.
Okay, Mataji. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Harisham Prabhu, would you like to say anything? Hare Krishna.
No, Mataji.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Ramini Mataji, I see you in the call today. Would you like to share anything? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Nothing specific. Very nice to hear from Maharaj about the pastimes of Chidadai and Raghunath Das Goswami's pastime. So nothing specific, Mataji.
True, Mataji. The entire lecture was actually so beautiful. I also like many points, but what particularly I liked was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's letter to Raghunath Das Goswami when he was very keen to leave his material life and come to the spiritual platform. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu categorically told him that you calm yourself right now, you enjoy your material life in a moderate way, but without being too much attached. So that thing I liked particularly. Shulochana Mataji, can we hear from you? Hare Krishna.
Sorry, Mataji, I'm not attending.
Okay. Yugal Kishore Prabhu, anything from your end? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. So the pastimes of Raghunath Das Goswami, the way Maharaj narrated is so nicely, and there are many aspects of Raghunath Das Goswami actually gets highlighted. The first, when he was actually caught by Chaudhary, when his father and uncle was absent, and then he was put in jail. He was so expert in even material dealings, and how nicely he was able to attribute put the things, articulate in a way that he was able to convince that Chaudhary. Not only he was able to convince, he in a way that he started crying, so he became very emotional, and he released Raghunath Das Goswami. So that shows his alertness, daksha, very expert in material dealings, courageous, not to get scared. So somebody at that age in put in jail might be very scared, afraid of situation, but he was very confident and courageous. The second thing, that the attraction that he had for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that the other day Shankun Prabhu was mentioning, that he heard from Haridas Thakur when he was a small child, under the directions of Balram Acharya. And so that attachment, that once he had that, and of course because this attachment grown up, and he had opportunity to meet two times Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And of course, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that the time will come, appropriate time will come, and then you will get opportunity to associate with him. So the initial founding that happened in Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Raghunath Das Goswami's an attachment to, because he heard Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he developed attraction for that. Of course, he's the eternal associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but as a pastime here, that shows that it is so important that we should, Shamkun Prabhu yesterday only was mentioning that we should give a training, that we should develop attraction, or we should give opportunity for our next generation to develop and hear about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that was the second point. And the third point, that is that we cannot get Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu directly, and that is what Raghunath Das Goswami's pastime shows, especially Panihati, that he attempted many times to directly go to Raghunath Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. However, he could only meet once. He had blessings of Nityananda Prabhu. So that is what is our parampara emphasizes a lot, is that we cannot go Gopi Bharatrupada Kamala Das Dasanada. Once we have mercy of the devotee of Lord, then only we can actually get association or mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very nicely covered so many important points. Pranavalla Prabhu, anything from your end? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Nothing from my end. Thank you.
Okay, Prabhu. Nitin Prabhu, do you have anything to share today? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I think most of the points are covered, but yeah, I think it was good to see, how the material struggles we have and balancing it, we are trying to. It's going on from centuries, that people have to balance their family, and though they have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in front of them, still, that balancing act was required. So, and another thing was balancing we live in this world and how much we should enjoy and how we balance that. I think that's a really good learning which I took today. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Shanatan
Krishna.
Gopa Prabhu. Shanatan Gopa Prabhu, can we hear from you? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Most of the points have been covered. Actually, Raghunath Das Goswami in Puri, he was taking chip rice, rejected chip rice. It is such a rich person. And somebody was asking about regulating. He can go to any range. One of the things is actually he is the person who, through him only we have learned that we can get to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only through Nityananda Prabhu. That is through our Nityananda. Our Guru is a representative of Nityananda Prabhu. Through Guru only we can get Krishna or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Whenever this Raghunath Goswami, that concept is given to everybody. So we should follow our Guru's instructions and regulate our life, and we should always do a devotional service focused on Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very nicely said. Vilay Prabhu, would you like to share anything? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yeah, I like the point where how the punishment is also become a blessing when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, so when Nityananda Prabhu says you need to feed all the villagers, and he becomes so happy. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. It was actually a blessing. He got the opportunity, and then he got the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also came there physically, and then through Nityananda Prabhu's mercy, he got liberated. It was very nice. Yes, Harisham Prabhu, you have raised your hand. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Just one thought or point on Vivek Prabhu's question about regulated enjoyment. This regulated enjoyment is also kind of a dangerous proposition in the sense we may get used to it as well, and we may try to be the enjoyer there as well, if you're not very watchful. So essentially here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what I heard, if I understood rightly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu here says externally act like a materialist or be a attached person, but internally cultivate the mood of always longing or like progressing in Krishna consciousness. So exactly that's what Raghunath Das Goswami exemplified. Like externally was after that, externally was kind of acting like a normal person who is doing day-to-day activities, taking care of all the businesses and everything. But internally, he was longing to meet Lord Chaitanya, and by the mercy of like Nityananda Prabhu, now when he got that opportunity, then he left. So this kind of a lesson for all of us. Okay, regulated enjoyment. If not, we are watchful. Like it can become an obstacle in our progress in Krishna consciousness. And we may take it as a privilege. Okay, the Lord has said to do like the instructions in the Shastras, which talks about regulated enjoyment, but still we have to be very watchful about. Okay, then we may become addicted to that as well. That's it, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu, very true. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, just to add, even Rupa and Sanatana also got similar instruction. We saw when we heard about Sanatana and Rupa, Mahaprabhu said similar instruction that like a paramour, like a lady who's waiting for the paramour. So internally and externally. Externally, we act as though we are materialist, but internally the mood is to reach Mahaprabhu.
Yes, yes, Mataji. Very nice.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Vivek Vilay Prabhu brought that's a very wonderful point actually. That even the punishment that is being given is also bliss or happiness there. So when Maharaj actually narrates the pastimes of Narad Muni and the sons of Kubera, Maharaj very nicely highlight the point. Ishwani Rompaswami Maharaj highlights the point that then that is the nature of sadhu. The sadhu always is the well-wisher of all the living entities, and so even in that there's a blessing in disguise. So it's a very nice point. And Harisham Prabhu was mentioning about that, and I thought just quoting from Bhakti Rasamrut Sindhu that anasaktasya vishayam yathartham upayunjate nirbandham Krishna sambandhe yukta vairagya uchyate. So Rupa Goswami has quoted that, and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada very nicely practiced this and coined this. I mean, this used this word very extensively, yukta vairagya. However, while using that yukta vairagya, it is that anything that is sambandha, Krishna sambandha, nirvandam Krishna sambandha, whatever that we can use in the service of Krishna, that we can use that. We cannot renounce that. But the first line says that anasaktasya vishayam, without being attached to that vishaya. So Harisham Prabhu nicely brought that because, and Prabhupada, when Prabhupada actually talks about this Yukta Vairagya in Nectar of Devotion, he mentions that we never know when to use and when to renounce, and that is why we need a guidance. So without guidance, if we are not matured enough, probably it could lead to some other results than what we wanted. So just wanted to fix, as Harisham Prabhu said, that it has, we have to be very careful. And the underline is that anasaktasya vishayam, without being attached to the vishaya, then we can use that in the service of Krishna. So just for these 2 points. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu, for raising these 2 points. I don't think Shankun Prabhu is there in today's call, so let's discontinue today's session. Vancha kalpataru vishya kripa sindhu vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakati Vaishnavrindo ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.